Welcome to EPG Padashala, and I am K. Rajan from the Department of History, Pondicherry University. And today we are having a subject on Indian culture, and the paper is on art and architecture of India. And the present module which we are dealing today is on Pallava art. And the purpose of having a Pallava art is that to know about the development of Pallava art and to understand the theme and content of the Pallava art, to understand the evolutionary process of sculptural art, to estimate the impact of Pallava art in South Indian culture. And with regard to Pallavas, who established their kingdom in the northern part of Tamil Nadu, they ruled from 6th century to 9th century CE, and from the time of Shimma Vishnu, with the capital at Kanjipuram on the banks of river Pallava. And Pallava history or Pallava rule is considered as the hallmark of history of art in South India, and particularly the Brahmanical tradition has been introduced during their time. And they started their rule on the bank of river Pallava, and they extended up to the river Kaveri. Of course, the later kings also extended their rule up to the southern river Vellar. That is the traditional boundary between the Pandyas and Pallavas. And these the monuments that are constructed in this territorial zone carry the evolved tradition of artistic style of sculptures. And they had three styles of temple architecture. One is called rock-cut cave temples, and second one is called monolithic temples, and the third one is structural temples. And the monolithic temples are unique of Pallava architecture. And the second one, with regard to the art, they are the one who introduced this Somaskanda panel. That means a Shiva and Parvati, and in between you are having a Skanda. These Somaskanda images are the one introduced during the time of Parameswara Varman first, and its popularity is continued till the later king of Nandivarman II. More than 40 Somaskanda panels were identified in Pallava temples, in rock-cut cave temples, and monolithic rathas and structural temples. Somaskanda panel is the portrait of Shiva and his consort Uma with their son Skanda in the center, all seated on a royal throne, generally carved on the rear wall of the sanctum of the Shiva temple, that is the Garbhagriha wall of the Shiva temples. Based on the stylistic ground, it could be divided into two, namely the pre-Rajasimha style and the Rajasimha style. And these Somaskanda panel belongs to the pre-Rajasimha style, having third level of the shrine of Dharmaraja Ratha, that is the monolithic temples of that Mahabalipuram. In this panel, Shiva's lower left arm rests on his left knee, whereas the right forearm in Chinmudra is held vertically close to his chest. The right leg only is down and the left is folded on a sheet. But in the case of later Pallava Somaskanda panels, the left leg will be shown as down and the right leg normally folded on the sheet. This is the only difference between the early Somaskanda panel and the later Somaskanda panel. And Uma on the left hand holds the Skanda at his waist, and two Ganas with fly whisks hover above Shiva and Uma. Brahma and Vishnu engraved in niches on either side of these standing postures. Then this is the Dharmaraja Ratha, that one you are seeing in the left side. It is built in a Dravidian style and Tritala Vimana with octagonal Sigara. And at the back wall of the Centum Centurium of this Dharmaraja Ratha, we are having this Somaskanda panel. You could see here that left leg is folded and the right leg is lowered down, and the right arm is in Chin Mudra close to the chest. And in the case of Uma, is looking towards Shiva, and in between Uma and Shiva, we are having a Skanda in the center. And both the sides, we are having their devotees. In Rajashimha style, Shiva's lower left hand always rests on his right ankle in Dhyana Mudra, and the lower right arm in Chin Mudra is held horizontally but away from his body. The upper left hand always shown in Jnana Mudra and upper right arm in Ardha Dhyana Mudra is held horizontally away from his body. The ear ornaments are both Makara Kundalas. Uma is always shown turned front, with left arm is always on her left side supporting her body. The left leg is lowered down. The ear ornaments are both Patra Gundalas. The headdress looks like a turban pinched in the middle with tall crown. The hovering ganas are absent and are replaced by Brahma and Vishnu standing behind the throne. You could see the another important panel that we could observe in Arjuna penance is that Gangadhara panel. So Gangadhara panel he has shown in upper rock cut cave at Tiruchirappalli. That is the southernmost upper rock cut cave of Mahendravarman. And here the first narrative relief of the Pallavas is the Gangadhara panel. And the Shiva here in this upper rock cut cave is portrayed as receiving the Ganga. According to Ramayana, the Bhagirath, the sage, wished to sanctify the ashes of his ancestors in the holy water of Ganga, which is confined to the realm of heaven. In order to bring this river down to the earth, the Bhagirath restored to penance. So Brahma, on looking after his penance, agreed to grant his request, but warned that the earth would be devastated or destroyed due to the gravity of the force of the descent of the river Ganga. However, Bhagirath continued to his penance, remained standing on his one leg in order to get protection from the Shiva, and finally agreed to protect the earth. It is the Gangadhara theme in which Shiva controls the fury of descending river Ganga by holding her captive in the locks of his hair until Ganga flows gently to the earth. Such Gangadhara panel also appeared in Kailasana temple at Kanjipuram. And this is one which you are having is upper rock cut cave and at Tiruchirappalli. We could see that one. The Shiva right leg is placed on the Apashmara, and the very important feature of Pallava art is that the Yajnobhavita is running on the right hand of the sculpture, or the Shiva or Vishnu. And you see that on the right upper arm is holding Ganga, and it was almost connected with the Jada Magada of Shiva. And all the four flying Gandharvas or the four attendants were shown on either side of the Shiva. According to Mahabharata, we are having two faces of this Gangadhara panel. Sometime instead of Bhagirath, that sage is shown as Arjuna, who is looking after this Paspada weapon. So, according to the Mahabharata, the Arjuna wearing a deer skin, standing on the tip of the one toe with folded hand and kept over his head, practiced penance with starvation to get Paspada weapon from Shiva. The central theme of episode is descent of Ganga through the vertical cliff. We are having a two surface in the Arjuna penance, and the center we are having a vertical cleft. That cleft is considered as the descent of Ganga. A tank at the bottom of the cleft and a number of small channels on the ledge suggest that the cleft was to let down the water to a tank below. This celestial event is witnessed by the gods, demons, men, and animals gathered on either side of the stream. And if you see that four-armed Shiva with matted hair, or what we call it Jada Magada, is depicted on the left top of the cleft. A group of sages gathered around a small temple is carved on the lower left. The remaining space of the rock is carved with a giant Nataraja and his consort, water divinities, gods, demons, men, and animals. All of them are shown in a dynamic posture, that means always in a moving space. You can see that this is the earliest photographs that has been copied in 1825, a view of the sculptures that has been, it is a painting that has been done by one product. And after that, in 1880, you could see the condition of these original planets which Nicholas and their people have done that on. And this now is well protected. You could see the present condition of this one. You could see that there is a gap in between the two rocky surface that we call that cliff, through which Ganga flowing down to the rectangular cyst at the bottom. On the left side, you could see that one of the Arjuna, he has shown as standing in one leg and holding both the hands above the head, and Shiva he has shown on left to him. So below that, you could see there is a small temple is depicted, and which clearly suggests that how was the temple architecture to the time of Pallava times. And the gap is completely covered with nagas. You could see that there is five-hooded animals also shown. Next, if you see a close view of this one, you could see that Arjuna, in order to get Pashupata from Shiva, he was standing on one leg, and you could see Shiva, he has shown with all weapons and also holding a Mirga, that is also deer, and on either side you are having a Shiva Ganas. On the right side, you are having a Naga sculptures, and further right to that, you are having elephants, and the row of elephants is heading towards Ganga to consume the water of Ganga water, and you are having a flying Gandharvas and completely covered with the whole picture. You can see the one Simha or one lion in the middle, that also has shown in the bottom of the pillar of the Pallava arch. This is next one is a Mahishasura Mardini panel, in which Mahishasura is standing on the right. He is almost bigger than the size of Durga, and Durga is shown very seated on a lion, pouncing lion, and on the left side you could see several Ganas are holding the weapon in a charging position, and both this beautiful sculptured panel, namely Mahishasura Mardini and Ananda Sayana or Vishnu Shashai, are placed at opposite side of the walls of the Mahishasura Mardini Mandapa. A large sculptural panel showing Durga as Mahishasura Mardini occupies the whole of the wall at the northern end of the cave. The eight-armed goddess Durga defeating the demon king Mahishasura is shown on the right. The panel reflects the unconquerable goddess Durga as a Mardini, meaning crushing, rescuing the world from the tyranny of the buffalo. That means Mahisha and the demon Asura. That's why this panel is called Mahishasura Mardini. The young warrior goddess, mounted on a fierce lion, attacks the buffalo demon holding a club in a charging posture. The demon is shown taller and stronger than the goddess Durga. Generally, both the Durga and this Mahishasura has shown with umbrella. That means they are thereby indicating they are equal power. The buffalo-headed demon, that Mahishasura, stands ready to strike with his great iron club as he eyes his opponent, waiting for the right moment. The slender diminutive goddess, the Durga, holds bow in right hand and goddess playfully shooting her arrows over the demon's head and not even looking at him as he advances with drawn sword and other weapons in her right arms. Her attendants, holding weapons, firmly advance with ferocity, while the demon's followers are fleeing in an opposite direction. The way the sculpture portrayed that is a clear picture of the outcome of the battle. And you could see this picture. On the left side, ganas or small sculptures were shown always in the charging postures, and the Durga above the head you are having umbrella, and you see the left hand holding that bow and arrow, right hand is holding arrow, and here right side and the Mahishasura holding the club, and you see the right side sculptures little bigger than the ganas, always holding the sword in a position of fleeing from the battle. And next one is Vishnu as a Shashayi panel. That means Vishnu is in a reclining position on the bed of the snake. The relief panel is shown with two armed Vishnu lying over Adishesha, what we call the snake, in his Yoga Nidra. At his feet are standing Asuras, the Madhu and Kaidava, waiting for an opportunity to strike him dead with their weapons. Srinivasan mentions that Padma Shri awardee K.R. Srinivasan mentions that flames are coming out of the hood of Adishesha. However, Nagasamy, the former director of the State Archaeology Department of Tamil Nadu, states that the blazing flames emitted from the Shesha can be seen on the back wall. The attitude of the two demons also suggests that they were perturbed by the flames and thus bending back to avoid the flames. Below Vishnu is shown Bhudevi kneels near his feet with her hands joined in Anjali posture. Opposite to her are shown two male figures who could be identified with Sudarshana, the disc, and the Nandaka, the sword, two weapons of Vishnu in their animated form. The figure of Nandaka is identified by Srinivasan, but the same figure is identified as Garuda and Lotus respectively by Nagasamy and the latter art historian Lockwood. Two flying figures above Vishnu also represent his other two weapons. The male is Panjaranya, conch, and the female is Kaumodaki. So that way you could see here in this picture the flying Gandharvas are there above Vishnu, and on the head of Vishnu he is covered with the hoods of the Shashayi, and below that you are having a Bhudevi and with an Anjali posture on the right side, and the left side you are having a god. So this way this Adi Shashayi has been represented. And another one is a Varaha panel or Bhumi Varaha. The two lateral walls and the walls on either side of the central shrine of the Varaha Mandapa at Mahabalipuram are adorned with four sculptural panels, which such as the Vishnu lifting the earth out of the ocean, that is Varaha, that Gajalakshmi birthed by elephant, that one is another panel, a Durga is a third one, and the Trivikrama defeating the Bali is another one, the fourth sculptural panel. He is shown standing firmly on his one foot, while his other foot is on the hood of Shesha. The four-armed Vishnu is shown with the Sankha, that is conch, and the Chakra is a disc in his forearms, while holding Bhudevi with his lower arms seated on his right thigh, her breast touching the shoot of the Varaha. Her attitude is of a shy girl, however, at the same time, she is also happy and being rescued from the nether world. Behind Vishnu is seen Brahma, shown with 4 hands and standing in Tribhanga posture, holding Kamandalu, while other hand do not hold any object. One right hand is resting on his waist, while the other is in Kataka Mudra. So you could see the panel of this Varaha panel. You can see that Vishnu as a Varaha standing straight, and his right leg placed over the head of a snake of hood, and he is holding this Devi, and his nose is almost touching the breast of the Devi, and on both the sides you are having the devotees. Gajalakshmi panel is another feature of the Pallava art. On the back wall of the Varaha Mandapa, left of the central shrine, you could see a relief of Gajalakshmi at Mahabalipuram. She is shown seated on a lotus. You could see the lotus pedestal with her 2 hands in Kataka Mudra. She has a curious Jata Makuta. Normally, the goddess is given a Karanda Makuta, but here it has shown with a Jata Makuta. Very characteristic feature of the Pallava art. She is attended by 4 maidens, female maidens, 2 on each side. The 2 maidens are holding water vessels, 2 holding other objects, maybe flowers, and above the Lakshmi, the 2 elephants have been shown. You can see on either side, and one is the trunk is raised above. So that's why it is called as Gaja Lakshmi panel. The 2 majestic elephants are on upper corners. One is in the process of pouring a water from a vessel on Lakshmi, while the other is in the process of lifting a vessel to follow the other elephant. This scene represents the birth given to goddess Lakshmi from celestial elephants, including Airavata, when she emerged from the ocean during the episode of the Samudra Mandana. This Airavata is the Vahana of Indra. So Gajalakshmi panel, you can see the close view of that. You can see the feet is rested on the lotus, and you see that 2 elephants, one is holding a vessel and another is lifting the vessel. On either side you are having 2 maidens holding a water pots. Then another panel which is very interesting panel is a Durga panel. This Durga panel is depicted on the back wall of the right central sign of the Varaha Mandapa. And you can see that the umbrella has shown above the head of the Durga, and the Ganas or that dwarfs are shown on either side. To indicate is a Durga, we are having a line on the left side, and also the deer is shown on the right side. Then the people are seated at her feet. She is shown with 4 hands, holding Shankha, the conch, and the Chakra, the discs. Her one hand is on her right thighs, and one is in Abhaya Mudra. The parasol above her head suggests her royal status. Lion and the deer, the stag, mounts of Durga, are in upper corners. Below them are 4 Ganas, 2 on each sides. Near the feet of the goddess are 2 devotees. One on her right is holding his hair and holding a sword on his neck, while the one on her left has raised his hand in adoration. So the devotees found in this panel are so indeed a curious and interesting, as it appears that they signify a blood sacrifice in honor of the goddess. Then almost the final one is the Trivikrama panel. The lateral wall of the Varaha Mandapa on the right side has a relief of Vishnu in his Trivikrama form. Vishnu, in his Vamana incarnation, took the form of Trivikrama after being granted 3 steps of land from King Bali. You could see that the left leg is raised on the above the head of the Bali, and you can see that Vishnu holding the weapons all in a form of Trivikrama. Vishnu is shown with 8 arms carrying chakra, that is gada, the club, the khadga, the knife, the shankha, the conch, the kataka, a shield, and bow. His one hand is held up with palm turned up, and another hand is stretched along his stretched foot up in the sky. The whole scene can be divided into 3 parts. The upper part represents the Swarga, the heaven. The middle part, sky, and the lower part represent the earth. In the upper part is shown Brahma and Shiva seated on a lotus. In between Vishnu and Brahma is shown Jambavan beating drum. Middle part of the panel has Surya and Chandra. Both represent the sky. On the lowest level, the earth, near the feet of Trivikrama, are shown 4 people, 2 on either sides. The second are the seated figure. Immediately to the right of Trivikrama is likely to be his Mount Garuda. The other figure close to the lake is Sunandana. On the extreme left is a seated royal figure, King Bali, holding a long-necked vessel. Seated before him is Sukracharya in agitated posture, the guru of King Bali. Then besides these Hindu sculptural panels, we are having portrait sculptures that is representing the kings, Pallava kings. The portrait sculptures are found the cave temples and Radhas at Mahabalipuram. These are the portraits of the Pallava kings and also bear inscriptions. However, the identity of these kings has not yet reached a consensus among the scholar community, K.R. Srinivasan, R. Nagaswamy, and Lockwood. In one panel, in Adivaraha Mandava, we see a king seated in Sukhasana posture on a seat with 2 of his standing queens. The king's one arm is in Chin Mudra posture and suggesting that he is professing some idea or conveying certain ideas. The king is depicted with minimal jewelry. The inscription above this panel reads, "The glorious Adiraja, Shimma Vinna Potra." So normally the kings of the Pallavas have been called as Potharayars. So he may be a Simha Vishnu Potha. So this Pallava king has been identified with the Pallava king Shimha Vishnu or Parameshwara Varman first. So on the stylistic features of the Pallava sculpture, if you could see, there are different variety. The Pallava sculptures retain the same elongated, slender, brilliant and graceful forms seen at Amaravati, as one seen at Amaravati, but the figure have become more sublime and disciplined. The Pallava laid greater stress on natural simplicity, which gives their carvings an immediate charm. They do not rely on anything such as deep, mysterious caves with strong play of light and shade, as one seen in the Ellora sculptures of the same period. Everything is clear and open in these Pallava carvings on the face of rocks and shallow cavities. Pallava artists had a special gift for hinting at the significance of their themes by means of overtones. They never represented their subjects in dramatically decisive scenes. The human and divine figures produced by the artist of the Pallava rule or dynasty show an impersonal, dignified reserves verging on aloofness. Their long, thin, almost tubular limbs make them look even taller. The female figures usually lean on their tall, broad-shouldered partner and look very submissive, whether they human or even goddesses. They are much slighter with narrow chest and shoulders and very slender waist. Both their ornaments and clothing are very scant, are very limited one. If you took the complete picture of the or summary of this Pallava art, one could say that the sculptural art had a long tradition in India, starting from Buddhist art. The impact of Amaravati sculptural art one could see in Pallava art that shows the continuity of the tradition. The concrete evidence for the existence of sculptural art reflecting Hindu tradition could not be traced till 6th century AD in South India. So that way this Pallavas introduced the Hindu tradition in South India. The emergence of Chalukyas, Pallavas and Pandyas in South India witnessed the royal patronage of sculptural representations. The art observed in the rocket cave temples, the monolithic rathas and the structural temples at Mahabalipuram or Mamallapuram, what we call it, Kanjipuram, Panamalai, Tiruchirappalli, and these places revealed that the excellent patronage received by the artisans in the hands of the Pallavas. The excellent sculptural panels witnessed in all these monuments show the continuity of the tradition and its further evolution. Thank you.